Hey, good evening, good morning. Um, uh,
Hello, it's nice to see you.
yeah, nice to see you again. Quite a few of you met just a month ago, but really happy to see you again. Uh, I'm not sure if this is the norm. Normally, I start my classes on the dot, but I see there are only six people apart from myself, Upgrad International, and Shuchita's Fireflies. Uh, so that's no taker. Other than that, only six people. Is that the norm? Are the classes do they start late or should I be expecting any more?
I think
Yes,
it.
sir. Usually they will be taking a buffering time of 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes is a lot. I, I believe 1 minute is a lot too. But given that I have not taught your cohort, so I'll just wait for about 5 minutes, 4 more minutes, and then get started. My normal practice is to start on time, irrespective of if anyone is there in the class. I am perfectly fine speaking to myself. So, but in the meantime, in case you have not yet downloaded, this will be more of a, and I will mention it again when others join. But if you can log into your GGU Teams, yesterday Dr. Sumitra uploaded some files I had shared with her. I did not have access yesterday. I got access only today. But some files that you will be working on today, mostly prompt. So there are some prompt vaults and two Word documents and Excel file. I'll mention what the Word document and Excel file are, but given the 2 hours and 45 minutes session, we will not have time to work on them, but I will tell you what needs to be done. You will do the entire work, but copy paste may not work during the session. But if you can download all that material, that will be useful. Yes, Asgar.
Yeah, while we wait for everybody else to join, just one question looking at your slide here. It says developing dissertation
Ah,
grade business plan.
good, good.
So
Yes.
is today's session about business plan only? Because I'm writing a book actually.
Yeah, good point. Yes, I was told to do focus on the business plan part of it, and but you are welcome to sit through in case there are certain ideas that can be that you can modify for your book. So unless you have other things, the focus is on the business plan. Um,
Okay.
but there could be some ideas that can help with the research and other things. But yeah, you are right. The focus is on business plan.
Okay, so will there be a similar session on books as
Uh,
well?
Sumitra, this is a question I got in the earlier session also, my
Right,
morning session, and I don't know what the course plan for this course is.
right.
This is a new thing that has been added primarily. This is the first time we are doing this session, mainly because of some experience with research proposals of the earlier cohorts where even the business plan was presented as dissertation, not as a business plan structure or anything. So there was a need to help people understand how the dissertation requirements and the business plan, how we can map them and meet both goals. So that's why this session is added for the first time. Certainly, we have not had similar sessions for book, but I felt the book and the dissertation generally have the research activity is very similar, except the final output of the book is presented in a different way. But I will
Uh-huh.
have to check with Sumitra on if there is another session may not be a long session like 2 hours 45 minutes, but something specific to book. If there is something, I will check with her.
Okay, thank you very much. I might opt out before time in that case.
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Understood.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's 5 minutes past, and so and we seem to have about 10 plus people. That's good. Okay, uh, so this is a session on building dissertation grade business plan, and it is important to understand what we mean by that, as I was just explaining to Asgar, and if all of you were not there, if one or two joined later, the idea is to meet the rigor of a dissertation, the detailed research methodology, yet not compromise on the final goal of building a business and a business plan. So how do we map the two activities and meet both goals is the purpose of this session. So this will not have anything to do with those who are doing the dissertation or the book. But if you are welcome to stay on, and if you see some of the things we do here, if somehow that helps you get ideas on how to think about going with the book also. Dissertation, I think, is a well-tested, standard, globally standard way of doing things, so that won't require a new session. But business plan and book being very unique ideas in this program, if the approach that I take today, if it sparks some ideas or thought processes, that would be useful. Just stay on. Whatever we do, this is not a lecture session. There is not much I can teach, but what we will do is more on the lines of a workshop or a lab that we have. And for that, I request that you log into your uh, GGU Teams and download. Sumitra had posted this thing. There is a zip folder, dissertation grade business plan.zip. This has about 13 prompts. So a prompt vault, very detailed prompts for each section of a dissertation that we need to go through. How do we synthesize all of that? Along with two Word documents that I will show when we get to the relevant slide, and an Excel that will help you structure the entire dissertation research, and maybe even speed up that process and cut down at least a month or two from the overall time, is my expectation. But we will see as the session goes along what you feel about it. So that's the thing. Keep it downloaded. Don't open anything. Don't run anything. We will do that in due course. And so that's the agenda. And as I said, this is by the way, this is not going to be a pitch deck kind of a thing. That is something that during the immersion in Singapore, I quickly went through some of those, and we can always come back to those at a later time. But you need to meet the dissertation requirements and build a very thorough business. Actually, have a very strong, detailed analysis when you are building a business, so that you don't leave any loose ends. And so this will meet both the goals. Let me bring my pointer. Okay. And uh, again, I have said this, so let's just take about the first half an hour to set the context and all of those, and then we will start running these. And given that I have 13 prompts, but before that, I will just want you to write a prompt the way you normally write. 14 prompts. Even if we give between about 10 minutes for each, which I will not, that would require about 140 minutes or 2 hours, 20 minutes. And in the morning session, when I did, initial prompts required that long because you are still setting things up. but later once we actually ran very quickly. And so 5 minutes would mean 14 prompts, 70 minutes. So 1 hour, 15 minutes or so will go just running them. So half the time anyway. So somewhere between half to 2/3 of the time during the session will go in you actually running things, synthesizing, and maybe having a quick small draft of your overall business plan, except for those detailed financial plans, the data that you will collect and process and do analysis, which will be a significant part. But overall structure, I think, will be ready with a deep dive research and competition analysis that you will be able to do with these things. So this is a deep research workshop mode thing, Gen AI driven mostly. It's all prompt driven mostly. But we will see as we go along how when you do your business plan or these kinds of things are useful, whether you are doing dissertation or book also, everything that you collect through Gen AI or otherwise, having a systematic process of tagging your evidence and your hypotheses that you are going to be generating, doing a thorough due diligence around that, how to validate your hypotheses, how to do a thorough research. This is specific to competition research, but may be applicable when you are thinking about your book and dissertation. Also, this is the part that we will spend quite a bit of time on, and then AI. It's interesting. I'm putting that AI used only after opportunity framing and not to start off about your AI in the initial part of problem statement itself is obviously this is AI focused program, and your dissertation book or business plan must have AI as a component. But what this will help do is to question yourself, are you including AI for the sake of including, or because dissertation has to be a serious work, or is there proper justification? So you will be questioning yourself, can I build this business without AI and still do something significant? And all of those things. I'll keep an eye out on the chat window, and Shweta says there is no zip file. There was, and Sachin, thank you, has copied and pasted it here. And Trevor also couldn't find it. Okay, I showed you my Teams uh, thing. This is where I go, and in the doctoral writing course, in the posts where Sumitra, okay, there was only one
Doctoral.
other
There
post.
isn't, that's not coming up, that same doctoral writing.
If you go to that, this is not coming up, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
mean,
see the other things? The response.
so yeah, it's never basically the file nomenclature that we have in our, you're looking on which one as well? GGU cohort 6, all teams, right?
Yeah, in all teams, if you go,
So
you
we only,
will.
in my one, we only
Yeah.
have 2. Okay.
Okay, I see a lot of cohorts. So if you see
Okay,
something,
okay. I found actually. I got it. Got it. Got it. Okay.
cohort 6, slot 2, if you see this in your
Yeah.
Teams
Got
window.
that. There you go. We have. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then this doctoral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thanks for posting that also. And yeah, and Sachin has given the link and all those things. Okay, great. So hopefully everyone has accessed it. We still don't have to start working on those. So you will have time to access that. Okay, and so this is what we will be doing today, and what, as I said earlier, what we will not be doing is a startup inspiration or a tools demo or a coding. We will not see any coding at all, or even a financial modeling, a 5-year financial plan, etc. None of that we will talk about, or even the pitch deck. So this is not what we are doing. But how to do a very thorough, deep research, very systematic, ensure you have done proper competition analysis, generated nice hypotheses that can be differentiated. And certainly there will be one prompt that hopefully all of you will find a unique idea. I chanced upon it a few months back when I was doing some other things and felt that was a very, very important thing. Otherwise, Gen AI gives us responses, looks interesting, is actually sometimes very valuable, but is it doing everything? And so that one particular prompt will help you question its own outputs. And I called it the red teaming or prompt, basically. It's useful. I've applied that in some corporate trainings and in product manager trainings, and people have found useful outputs. Okay. Again, the dissertation has a fixed structure for the business plan. You obviously have to have a very comprehensive research-backed business plan, and it has these sections, the executive summary, company, what are you trying to build, and a very, very important market analysis research part, which I think we will kind of nail down today very well. Leadership, organization management, etc. Maybe we will just touch upon some of those things, but you will know once you do all of these things, you will know how to expand any of the sections that are needed later. But we will do a thorough thing here, except actually extracting some copyrighted information or something like that. Anyway, we will look at that. But having said that, a business plan structure is like that, but our research structure may not exactly follow that. So when we work through all these prompts in those slides at every exercise, I will at the bottom highlight which of those dissertation sections that particular exercise gives outputs for. Okay, so that mapping will be fairly clear when we do this. And what we will do as building a business, a very crisp, concise statement about what you are achieving, not a huge mission or a vision statement that you can do later on as needed, but a mantra, a very crisp 3, 4, 5 word statement that can really capture the essence of what you want to build. And then stating that my product will solve everything for everyone all over the world is not going to cut it. So how do you create boundaries on that? How do you think about it? And all of this, we will take the Gen AI's help significantly. But I will keep on emphasizing the fact that you are the final decision maker for the verification and validation of whatever you see. The Gen AI is to be an assistant to you, not the decision maker. And so we will find some insights from there with evidence, because a dissertation will require you to ensure that your things are just not made up. So evidence tags, how do we do that systematically and collect, as you start collecting a lot of information during your research, how do you synthesize and put all of that together? Competition map among all the competitors, what are the standard patterns, so that you can find your gap, your differentiator that you will be able to defend, test, and red team to find a differentiator that a competitor will not recreate in the next 2 months. You may have a differentiator hypothesis today. What if the competitor builds it within the next 2, 3 months? How do you protect yourself against that? The red teaming certainly helps you strengthen that differentiator that you have. And AI decision gate, as I said earlier, you have to question whether AI is needed the way you anticipate it. Of course, AI is needed for the final dissertation. So if you are just fitting it for the sake of it, you will have to improve upon that. Okay. And then the business model, who are the buyers, who are the users. That there could be a significant difference between the buyer and the user and their requirements. So how do we think about that? And we will talk about all of that. Okay, milestones, assumptions, tasks, risks, and how do we validate everything. So that's what all of that is what you will output. By the end of the session, you will have a very significant thing. In the previous session, once everything was done, one of the people in the cohort just took all of that and put it in. He said Canva, and he said it just gave a very nice structured output for the entire stuff. So we will just see that. Okay. Time to get started with some brief work on your part, and then we will again start talking before we spend the second half entirely on running prompts and understanding why we are doing what we are doing. Okay, so what I would like you to do now is, if you have a business plan, you already have a rough product idea or even a little bit more matured idea. Those of you who are not doing a business plan, think about a product idea that you would want to just experiment with for today's session in this workshop. What I will do is, when I am explaining some of the ideas and giving some examples, I will use an HR, human resources, payroll specific, small and medium business payroll specific product to show you examples of what each of these topics that I want to talk about. But for now, if you don't have any other idea, you can just stick to that HR, human resources, payroll product idea, and then we will keep working through them. So define that, have a whatever way you define, and then go to your favorite Gen AI tool, whatever it is, and whatever is your prompting style, however you do that, just use that, input your product idea, and ask it to give you a competitive landscape. Whatever high level, deeper level, the way you want to think about it, do what you normally do. Then what we will do is open a separate chat session, and we will work through all of those 13 different things for the entire dissertation. And at the end of it, you will probably see the difference between your initial output and the a lot more thorough output. Of course, when we do the thorough thing, we will go a lot beyond competitive landscape, but I would like you to do that. So it's 23 minutes into the session from the start time, official time, start time. Let's take 7 minutes, and in India, it will be 7 p.m. Whatever 7 minutes come to, just do that, and then we will go to the next step. Just do this exercise first. Nothing to do with the files that I have shared with you yet. Okay. Rita says she's done.
Mm.
7 minutes is a long time, huh? So we have 3 more minutes. When you stay silent for this long, it shows to you how long this pause is. Back in the 90s when I was getting my PhD, and we were always encouraged to go and present as students also in international conferences. And there was this graduate seminar course where we used to make presentations. All other PhDs from multiple departments, faculty, they used to be there. And uh, one of the early uh, teachings, so one of our professors mentioned, you don't have to jump at answering anything. You can take about the 10-15 second pause and think about it. You can probably during that time repeat, but you don't have to jump at answering if it is not clear, if the question is very difficult or complex. You take your time, and if you cannot think, then just say you don't know. But just and he made us pause. He said, let's just count 15 seconds. Let's just not talk. And you are standing in front of a crowd and making a presentation, and 10 or 15 seconds, you just stand. And we all would keep quiet. And that 10-15 seconds was a long time. He said, that's what happens. So yeah, the 7 minutes is a long time. It's useful to pause and do that. Okay, good. We are almost at that 7 minute mark. But uh, any thoughts? This HR payroll thing, when I did something, part of my output came out like that. It gave me a list of competitors, their key features, and some other pricing points and strengths and weaknesses against some product idea that I had mentioned there. Anybody wants to comment on the outputs? What kind of outputs they got? Are they happy? And maybe explain the output a bit. What you got? Something similar as part of it, or anything? Anybody wants to talk about it? And what was the prompt that you gave, and the kind of output you got? Anybody? Yeah, Shweta.
Yeah, so I was just working on the same idea that I presented at Singapore. So because I put together
Education.
something at the back end,
Hmm.
which is a more advanced kind of a framework for questioning the Blooms and Socratic questions and things like that. So I'm working on that right now.
Mhm.
But I put it in there and I got a couple of competitors, but none of them are doing that. And this is a very different product. So I finished quickly. I think they can't find
Ah,
anybody.
yeah.
So,
Okay. So what was your prompt? Good. That's what I would have
so
expected. And
my
some, yeah.
So yeah, I just put it a little bit advanced because I know there is not much. So I put I want a competitive landscape analysis for looking at competitors, possible competitors, product alternatives, and do a very thorough analysis. I got also a SWOT with it.
Okay. And so that's the kind of prompt you typed. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Good. And that's what we normally do. Okay. And uh, give me a list of competitors in this space, and you describe your product and space briefly, and what are their features, and those are the kinds of things we ask, and it gives something that seems very nice, smart, interesting, and may not mean anything. Okay, so what we will do is get deeper into how to do all of that and extract something very, very useful. So, anybody else wants to talk before we move on? What kind of prompt you gave? Maybe 2 line, 4 line, or you gave up, you asked the chat GPT to give you a prompt that you ran and got something. Whatever. And anybody else, any comments before we move on?
Yeah, I gave a prompt, but I feel that the information is very superficial.
Ah.
So it is not at all satisfactory. My product is focusing on startups providing early on legal services at a cheaper price slash AI driven.
Excellent.
So I felt it's very superficial is what it gave. Very like let's say 10-year-old comparative, not a current one at all.
Okay. Okay, then let's try to see if we can improve upon that and also in the process build our dissertation structure and quite a good amount of information for that as well. Yes, Trevor.
Yeah, so I I first put into GPT a fairly long-winded, as I tend to be, prompt, and then ran it through Gemini to evaluate and give me an improved prompt. And it was actually longer than mine, what Gemini came up with, but a lot more structured, and I left out a lot of things. So for example, it asked me to, as the improved prompt said, view it as a role. What's role? That's the viewpoint you're looking from. Define the tasks.
Good.
What's the venture? There's 2 parts: refine the business model, and finally the competitive analysis. The competitive analysis is pretty much what I've already done in my mind up until now. It's not much different.
Okay, good. And that's one important thing. Do ask the chat GPT or Gemini or anything when you ask for the initial prompt, when you put, and you are asking for a better prompt, then do mention a line where you say, ask me any clarifications before you give me the prompt. And that's where, as Trevor said, it would ask for the role, the tasks, etc. And we will define them in a very structured way. We call that jobs to be done, JTBD framework. And that's part of the prompt vault that I have given. But we will go through all of that in a very structured manner. Even if we ask the Gen AI tool to give me a better prompt, it may miss things. And we are doing a dissertation, which means we have to do a lot of thinking. We use the Gen AI tool to help us with the brainstorming, with the synthesis, all of that, very important. But still, we should not outsource the entire thing to the tool. So the exercises we will do will cover all those aspects. But good. Trevor, I would also want you to see by the end of the session, in case the 2 hours and 40 minutes or whatever we have invested in that leads to a better output than what you already knew and it gave you back. Even if it gives the same things, does it give a lot more detail that you can defend in a dissertation? So we will go through all of that. Okay, let's move on. And I will next many slides, I will just tell you what we will be doing, how we will be doing it, and open up some of these documents to show what is there for your longer run research activity. We will not be filling things unless you have time. Your prompt runs quickly and you want to fill some part of it, but I will talk about that. So you have your own product idea that we have now just done. Keep that in mind because we will need it for the prompt chain that we are going to be running also. Okay, Sangram's prompt is still running. Okay, that's yeah, a good amount of stuff going on there. We will see the output. So let it keep doing its job, Sangram. Let's go through the next pieces. the prompts that I give, hopefully they will run very quickly. Okay, so use your own product idea, and we will run one prompt per exercise, and I'll give you the instructions at that point of time. Nothing too much to give you, but what we are doing, why we are doing, and other things. Then each prompt will lead to some outputs. Some of these outputs we will have to paste in our workbook. There is one of the document has a workbook, the other is a tracker. And then I will also talk about the Excel uh, document also in the next couple of slides. And then some of those outputs are needed as inputs for the follow-up exercise, follow-up prompt. Okay, so and it's very clearly written in the prompt itself. So you don't have to remember what I need to think, which prompts output I need to paste here. That's going to be very clearly spelled out in the prompt. But do not skip the exercises, because if you skip one, the output of the next one will get impacted. So let's run through all of them and yeah, and what we want to avoid is if something is too vague for today's exercise, maybe we will just accept whatever outputs we are getting. But as you do your research, if you find at any initial step the outputs are vague, the next outputs may look polished because that's the nature of the LLMs, but you will start getting very generic outputs, and that will not be defensible in a dissertation defense that you are going to be doing. So we need to be very thorough. You are the most important person in the research part. The LLM is a very strong assistant that you have. Okay, so let's go through all of that. I will keep cautioning you that the outputs may be polished, but they are not validated. You are the expert. You will ask for for citations and proofs and other things, but that's a due diligence that you will have to do. The speed and the structure, GenAI can do far better than we can do ever, or certainly in a short time we cannot do. But GenAI is much better. You are the true judge for the truth and the evidence and decision making. Use it for these activities where it is much better: structure, synthesis, what are the various options, comparing things, drafting it, and the red teaming. Basically, fighting your own initial ideas and contradicting them and coming up with stronger outputs is the red teaming stuff that we will have to do. Do not use it for fact citations, legal conclusions. Certainly, if you are building the legal product, even more important. But anything to do with truth, you need to validate it. Don't outsource that to the GenAI tool. Okay, so let's shred the whole idea about GenAI creating that false confidence that we have done a very thorough research. The competitive landscape is great, and features that it has given are nice differentiators. None of that. Okay, so by the way, I forgot to show you the Word files. Okay, let's just go there and open them, the ones you downloaded. This is just how to run through the prompts. There are 13 prompts that we will have, including the final executive summary. But a tracker, as you do, if not today, when you, let's say, run the first exercise, whether you have run it or not, yes or no, you need to have a very nice thing so that you don't miss anything. Have you saved the required outputs? What are you carrying forward to the next prompt? What was the top insight? What was the top hypothesis decision, if at all, for that particular exercises matters? What was the top uncertainty? Okay, that's what is going to help you with the dissertation thing. You need to quantify or qualify your uncertainties. How do you validate the next step? What is the evidence? And those things. Now, when we read through this kind of a template, we may not really understand what really is supposed to go there. So I have a sample from this HR payroll example. Again, even then, we may still be confused. Okay, the meaning and the mantra, top uncertainty, which stakeholder feels the most acute pain in phase one is the uncertainty. But how do I really think about it? This is where GenAI can help a lot. So you can give this as an example. You can upload the template. You can run these things and then say, now fill this template for me. But you go back and validate if that makes sense or not. So you take help from the GenAI tools, and that will help streamline your thinking process much better. Otherwise, I understand if you ask me suddenly, what is the evidence needed? How do I think about it? Well, I don't know. But this is going to be a good brainstorming partner for you, and do a quick draft. Okay, always treat the outcomes as a draft. So that's something. If you fill, what will happen is when you are consolidating your entire dissertation documentation, these will come in handy because you have been building this over a period of time. You don't have to run around and try to find information. Everything is getting synthesized as we go along during our research phase. Okay, so this claim ledger, I will talk about that. That is the Excel file that we have for this thing. But I'll come back to this example in a moment. So that's, and the other Word document is the workbook, where you can, I will talk about these things in a slide shortly, but when you are working through the first exercise, what is the meaning? What kind of purpose is your product solving? What is the mantra? Then what is the problem? One or two lines. Who is harmed, underserved? Gives a very nice template that will help you streamline and structure and make it very thorough research, where you will be able to justify questions in the defense can only come around these kinds of ideas. Why does this product matter? Yes, you are making money, but what else is it solving as a problem? You have an answer right there built into that. I also have, for each worksheet, when you fill, what dissertation components this is helping you fill. So executive summary and company description are those mandatory dissertation sections that you have, and these things can help you synthesize. And again, GenAI tools can help do that very well. So market boundary and segment definition, you define all of those, what is in scope. We will talk about all of that in the next few minutes. But the dissertation sections, market analysis, customer insights, product service scope, those are the kinds of sections that this will help you fill. Okay. And Sangram's prompt is done running for option F. If AI is core component of the business, how do we consider that? Where is option F? Here. If AI, good. I mentioned this earlier that AI has to be important for our course. So everyone will have AI as an important thing. Normally, this can work for when you are building a business, when you are guiding your teams, and suddenly everyone says, I want to build AI into this thing, and that's my differentiator. This will help you define, what if AI was not available? Can I still build a significant product that is useful? Now, let's come back to your actual question in the dissertation. What I mentioned earlier was this will still help you think. If you are able to answer that even without AI, you can build a viable product. That means AI is just something that you have added for the sake of adding. AI is not a powerful, important feature of your product. So this will help you tighten that idea of where you are putting AI, what kind of AI, why AI, all those questions. In your defense, your faculty might just ask you, what if AI had not been available? What would you do? And so you need to be able to justify that. So AI is an important thing, but it will help you tighten that answer. Okay, so but this kind of a structure will happen once you are going back to your organization. People will come to you, I want to do AI, and many of those problems you may not need AI. You will be able to question them and ask them. Here you will need AI, but you can tighten the your idea behind how to use AI. um, Sangram, is that reasonable? If it is core, it is core anyway, but you will be able to justify that. All I want you to do is to ask yourself, if it had not been available, what would be the impact? Okay, and don't try to justify yourself, because sometimes we will be biased because we wanted it in there. This is where you do that red teaming also. You ask Gen AI to contest it, fight with you on that, and help you pick the right thing. And if nothing, if that is mandatory anyway, it's solved. Okay, so
May I ask on this point a question?
yes, Trevor. Yeah.
So hypothetically, if the AI contribution is managing masses amount of data, or a search, for example, through information, would that constitute a use case, or are you talking about an AI functionality that's unique or creative? Which is the
You will have to decide that the value that it's adding. So now that's a very nice example that you have now given, that AI is managing massive amounts of data. And so if AI did not exist, would you still be able to have your product run? May not be as efficiently, but can it still add enough value? If it does, then AI is probably not, unless you highlight the fact that the efficiency improvements really are a very big value add to the organization, then you justify it that way. Otherwise, so that is where this question helps you strengthen your justification of AI and what you are doing. So that use case, Trevor, can be valid, need not be valid, but you will be able to do that when you question yourself on what if the AI had not been there, what would be the impact? And if that impact is very significant, then you have justified your AI use case as is, okay, instead of having a very fancy new application of that. But AI is adding a tremendous value to your product. Without AI, your product would not be the product that you have.
all's clear. Thank you.
So, Professor,
Yes.
so in our topic selection, how much impact should be the AI should be important? I mean, it should be important in our topic.
Yeah, AI is an important component because the course is focused on that. It need not be Gen AI. I do understand during the immersion there was some confusion, and I want to emphasize the fact that Gen AI is not the only AI, but any AI is important for the dissertation.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much percentage will you give?
10.
10. Okay.
It must be there. Okay, so everything need not be run with AI, but AI is helping you create a uniqueness in your product. Is what I want to get to. Product or dissertation or book or anything. AI is a important piece that is making it that much better.
So it is not necessarily we need to choose a new problem statement. Rather, we also can use the existing one, but we should be justify. That's all, right?
Yeah, and it should not be very difficult because AI, it can now impact everything significantly. You just have to be able to justify. And if I were to ask you a question in your defense, what if AI had not been there? What would you do? Are you able to write your book without that? You would need it, but So you cannot say, oh yeah, I would still be able to do that. Well, then why are you doing it? Is the question. So you would need to have a stronger impact of AI in your research, where the answer would be that yeah, if I did not have AI in this thing, there is that much significant aspect that will simply not work or do well or be as efficient and other things like that. But when you, so this is for the dissertation, but as I said earlier, as leaders, business leaders in your organization, someone will just come and say, let's use AI and solve this. That's where you have to ask that question, is that AI really needed there? Okay, and sometimes the answer will be yes, you don't need AI to solve that. Okay, because you will be questioning the ROI and cost and infrastructure needs and accuracies and efficiencies, everything. You will have to think about all those things that you learned in your responsible AI course. But the dissertation has to have a strong component of AI.
Just a quick question in continuation is to what Madhushri has asked. So, are you saying like for dissertation, it's mandatory, and for others, it is subject to certain factors, like the
For
usage of
everything, it's
AI?
mandatory. For everything, it's
Mandatory.
mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. And so use AI to again accelerate your research, synthesize things, but do not use it to certify. I am saying that, repeating myself quite a bit here, but it's very, very important. Okay. And how do you do that? How do you ensure that you are not using it for truth? You will have to label every statement, important statement, not every statement in the large document that you write, but every important statement as a fact, and we will talk about that. Fact, inference, hypothesis, or unknown. And if you have other ways of categorizing, you are welcome. This is not the only way, but I think it's pretty comprehensive when to identify important statements as fact, etc. Tag them, and these are part of your the Word documents I showed, or this Excel file. Okay, sorry, I cannot click in this mode, so I have to escape and then double click. And if you see, then there is a claim ledger. Again, take the help of GenAI. What are the various claims? I will show you an example, but a statement, then is it a fact? Is it an inference? Is it a hypothesis? Unknown, it's important statement, but I still don't know, still don't have clarity. What are the evidences that support that? Where is the source URL if available? And the verification status, has it been verified or not, who is the owner, and things like that. And let me show you an example. But claims and assumptions, when you explicitly identify them, you know the boundaries, you know what is feasible, what needs to be validated, what assumptions, under which assumptions things work. Are the assumptions critical? Criticality, is it low, medium, high? And again, all those validations, and which claim is that assumption connected to. So you have a very nice traceable, the traceability becomes very important, a traceable structure that you have. Okay, and then there is a rubric. This is again one template. You can update it the way you want. I have the various sections of your dissertation, the business plan part here. You can give this to ChatGPT or Gemini and ask it to create a similar one for book if you want. But the descriptions, and then there is a guidance on when you have thought through this pretty strongly, and the readiness, is it strong or does it require rework? So for example, right now I have some formula that I have added to make it to guide you better. So these weights, currently all sections have given equal weight, but you might say, well, then I don't, in a dissertation, I don't have this at all. Then it tells you weights must add up to 10. These must add up to 10. If you remove it, give something else a higher weight. So rigor, let's say I have 2, I have added that. Okay. And now that's okay. But how much score? If the rigor is missing or generic objections are there, concrete scenarios have been discussed, hypothesis has been revised, validations have been done. Depending on that, if I say, oh, I'm giving a score of 3, well, this is 3, then evidence discipline is 3, that one is 3. It will just keep giving you a score, and then it says rework required. Let's say if I give everything, again, this should just give you an idea. This is nothing written in stone, and it's not a standard framework, but this can give you an idea of how you structure your thing. And let me just say 4 everywhere. Okay, so Control C and Control V, and then it says, okay, strong foundation, or Control V and Control V. Okay, and it says it's a strong foundation. So you don't need much of rework on those things. But again, use it as a guideline, but nothing to really depend on totally. Okay, it will help you just have very structured documents, traceable. You can always go back. If a question is raised, you can refer back to it and build your um, dissertation that way. Okay. Okay. So how to use this in that Excel file I just showed, it was also part of one of the Word documents, same thing. So you can decide where you want to put it. But if a statement is important to influence your differentiators, your AI decision making process, business model, milestones, risks, etc., it should be a part of the claim ledger. Okay. And one example, let me show of that, is in the Word document. Here, let me zoom it up a bit. Okay, so in the HR example, pre-payroll input validation is a bigger pain point than final payroll calculation for the phase 1 segment. Pre-payroll validation. I am getting data. I am a small business. I am getting data for tax, from the regulatory things, for the vacations people have taken, and all kinds of things. And I am now validating each of those. That is a bigger pain for me to validate. I do not have a nice automated AI driven system to do that. Final calculation is not a big deal. That's actually a formula that runs easily. That's not my pain point. If that is my hypothesis, what type of claim is that? It's a hypothesis. It's not a fact. It's a hypothesis, and which will need to be validated and all those things. And in my validations or collection of data, I see that interviews are showing this is a disconfirming evidence. In research, we always have to ensure that we are only not getting our cheerleaders. We are just not saying everything that supports the thing. You should actively try to see how it can be broken. And that is generally the red teaming idea that we have. But you need to question all of those, and that strengthens that. So interviews have shown the calculation output errors are much bigger pain than the input chaos that we have, which is disconfirming evidence for the hypothesis that you have. How do I validate some of that? Let me interview 8 to 12 people, map the workflows, and then rank the pain, input pain, output pain. How do I think about all those things? So that's the kind of example. For every claim you have to, and which sections, these are the exercises that we are doing. So these exercise number 3, 5, 7, and 11 that we do lead into some of the information for this claim. Okay, so that's the kind. Again, use Gen AI to be able to populate these things and work with that to help you. Okay, but you are the final decision maker. And the fact, how do I decide what is a fact? Well, simple idea. If you can refer to a source where it is specified as is, you can get that information from any source or observations, then that's a fact. If from the fact you have derived an inference, reasoning, etc., conclusion, then that's an inference from the fact. You will not get the same thing directly from a source, but you have inferred it from the data and the evidence. Hypothesis, as we just saw, is a claim that must be tested. You have to have a validation plan and prove or disprove that, either way. And unknowns are those gaps. I still don't know. It seems important, but currently not resolved yet. And so have that section to ensure that, because not everything will be known immediately. So have those kinds of things. For evidences, the evidence tagging will help you later on go back to your however you have collected your information in your folders everywhere. Then having the tag helps you go back to that very quickly. Is it a literature, patent, competitors, artifacts, or customer data, internal data, financial thing, regulations related thing? You can come up with your own tags. Just these are ideas that you can help you streamline your dissertation process. If you have something better, use that. Okay. Some examples. I showed you an example in that Word document, but a strong claim statement could be, and I will tell you why it is strong shortly, and then we will move to our exercises after a few more slides. So for 20 to 150 employee services, small and medium businesses, pre-payroll input validation is a larger pain point than final payroll calculation. That's one claim. It's a hypothesis I have. I will have to prove it. Traceability is important. Approval visibility. Traceability and approval visibility are stronger adoption drivers than AI automation. So I might say my tool has AI automation in there. Well, is that going to help people adopt it? Or if the trust is built by traceability and how the approval process is happening, if I can see all of that in my product, will that help people adopt it more? I may have a strong product, but what if people don't use it? Okay, so you have to think about those aspects very clearly. So this is a structure that will help you do that. Weak statements. Small and medium businesses need better payroll. What is better? We don't have a clue. AI will differentiate us. No way, because AI, everyone now claims AI, AI, AI. There is a big market. Well, how big? And you can say, okay, my TAM, SAM, SOM, or whatever are all these things, but you will have to be able to justify how you will get to that. Okay, so defining boundaries around your market, thinking about that based on what product you are building is very, very important. And our prompt chain will help you get to that point. Okay. The status in that Excel file, there is a column. You can come up with your own things, but open, partially validated, validated, rejected. Some of the claims you will reject. Keep those for transparency. Do not, just because it's rejected, never delete anything. In research, we normally don't delete things because the positive and the negative both are very important information for us. So keep them. So common mistakes: deleting rejected claims or not having a disconfirmation condition. You have a you only want a cheerleader. You do not want the red team to counter what your hypothesis is. So you need to have those to make it stronger. Very vague statements, not connected to decisions, and treating inferences as facts. And that's where that definition will help. If it is a fact, I should be able to immediately refer back to a section or somewhere where it is, the information is right there. I can refer back to that observation somewhere. So that is the fact. Okay, not an inference. This is the, I mentioned that I will use small business HR payroll for my explanations here, and that's the context. Currently, the small businesses are managing their payroll with Excel sheets, WhatsApp approvals, email approvals, attendance from one system, reimbursements from another one, tax from somewhere else. And if it's in different states, their different requirements, last minute corrections. All of these lead to salary delays, deduction problems, compliance related things. Eventually, the founder burns out or the employees are just not trusting you, and trust is a major issue. Anything that you can do to have trust in your product or trust of the organization will always be a very big value add. Okay, so what we will do is I have divided the rest of the activities as part of a systematic thinking of three-phase structure: strategic, analytical, execution, when you are building a business plan. And then as we go through the exercises, I will connect what I am going to show now with your dissertation sections. Okay, so let's consider strategic as phase one, where you are trying to find the meaning of your product, what value it's adding, and what is the market. And for that, the purpose and mantra, segment that you want to operate in, the boundaries that we have talked about, and some preliminary research questions and hypotheses. Then you start analyzing things where the structured research and differentiation will evolve, and much more thorough landscape mapping. Some landscape mapping will probably come initially, but very thorough thing done. And then finding evidence, because doctoral dissertation will require everything to be proved with some evidence. Find patterns, what other people are doing, other companies, competitors are doing. Find some unique patterns which will lead to your gap analysis and finding that differentiator that you have. And that differentiator you will run through a red teaming process, and we will do all those now. And then the AI decision gate, just a question to see if AI is needed or not. We do need, I have said it enough times, we do need AI in our thing, but it will help you strengthen your AI aspect of your product. Finally, the business architecture and feasibility. So the business model, the milestones, assumptions, tasks, the minimum viable product, and the financial assumptions and risk and IPR, all of that. Kind of think of it like your first deliverable, which is your thesis proposal, topic proposal, sorry, which should have certainly those covered, some boundaries, maybe a preliminary question or hypothesis. I think might even go to the second deliverable, but a little bit of landscape mapping goes into your first topic proposal. By the time you come to your research proposal, you would have done all of that very thoroughly. You would have found patterns and other things and created a clear differentiator from your thing and how AI is being used. So you will be able to justify all that. So by this time, your research proposal would have all of these. And then the last part, which hopefully will not take a whole year, will run much more quicker, and you should be able to actually finish in less than 3 years. So these will be your part of the final dissertation defense. So that's how I see these three phases roughly translate into your three deliverables also. Okay, some overlapping here, but that should be it. Anyway, I will, as I said repeatedly, when we go through the exercises, I will specify this is how you build your business, but as we go through them, how you build your dissertation document also, which one plays into what is what I will talk about. Okay, first of all, we start with the make meaning, and those of you who attended the immersions might have seen this slide. So try to change the world, make it a better place. That's meaning. Okay, trying to make money is not a meaning. Okay, if your goal is to make money, you probably will not make a better place to live in. No meaning and no money. If you want to make meaning, maybe you will make money. Okay, most likely you will make money, but sometimes you can just make money if you are focused on making money. Okay, so you can never guarantee the outcomes, but try to have that thought process on why you want to build a product, because there is some need that you want to satisfy. And that need could be making a meaning, could be increasing the quality of life, which possible example, telehealth for chronic care. So people don't have to visit the hospital for everything. Some of these things can be handled remotely. Assistive tech for various challenges people have, and vision related challenges or other challenges. You can have assistive technology that's increasing quality of life. Or right or wrong, give fair credit at reasonable interest rates to people who do not have a strong credit history, but by other means, your product is able to figure out that they have been responsible people. And so for them, they have a thin credit file, but you should not uh, uh, be biased against them and be able to give a better credit. Or pay equity product, gender, race related biases, if you are addressing, you are righting a wrong. Or prevent the end of something good. Uh, Food waste. If there are grocery stores and perishable items are there, and they are going to go waste, why not have a product that helps you buy that at cheaper prices and give it to needy people or the NGOs who can actually make use of that? It's a win-win for everyone, and that could be a nice marketplace where you are ensuring preventing the end of something good. Or local investigative journalism you keep alive, and things like that. Okay, so that's making meaning. Do one of those things. Of course, take the help of Gen AI to draft a statement for make meaning, but your product idea should have those ideas. Mantra is not a mission statement. Mission statements tend to be like this and nobody remembers them. The mission of Wendy's is to deliver superior quality products and services for our customers and communities through leadership, innovation, and partnership. I would never even understand if they are into the food business by looking at that. And wouldn't it be for doing that, they might have paid some consulting company and $50,000 down the drain. Of course, Gen AI was not there back then. Now we do it for free. But a better thing could be healthy fast food. You may or may not believe in it, but Wendy's should believe in that if that is what they want to do. Okay, so that's a nice mantra and something everyone can remember. Healthy fast food, or peace of mind for FedEx, or authentic athletic performance for Nike, or enriching women's lives, Mary Kay. Okay, you will have your vision, mission, statements that give more clarity, but something very crisp. A mantra should be a valuable thing. These are not critical things, but something that you should add to your dissertation as well. Some statements I'm going to show here, and then we will debate on the quality. Okay, a problem worth solving. Businesses need AI powered payroll automation. Make meaning. We provide a next gen AI payroll platform with advanced automation. Mantra is AI payroll revolution for small and medium enterprises. And if AI did not exist, this business would not work. Well, if I make statements like that, they are very weak, because really, what is the pain that you are trying to solve? Is that error, delay? What is the payroll automation solving? That is not covered there. Who is it solving for? Is it the founder? Is it the finance head who is processing the payroll? Is it the HR that is collecting the data? Who is, or the employee who is getting errors in their thing? Who does it address? Technology, AI powered, is certainly never a meaning. Your meaning is those three things that we talked about. Okay, add some value, trust, anything that helps with those. No durable value proposition. It says, well, if AI did not exist, nothing, this won't work. Okay, so just and dissertation, you will not be able to do that with very broad statements. Instead, what is a good one could be small businesses struggle to run accurate, timely, compliant payroll because payroll inputs are fragmented, multiple sources, processed manually, creating errors, stress, and mistrust. Who is harmed? As I said in the previous slide, all of these people could be getting harmed because of that. We help small businesses protect employee trust and reduce compliance anxiety by making payroll accurate, transparent, and dependable without requiring a large human resource or finance team. Right payroll on time, always. That's the mantra. Okay. And if AI did not exist, well, the businesses still need an accurate payroll, may not be as efficient, it may slow down things, but the core value of giving a very accurate payroll system is still valuable. Again, I'm saying this so that you can strengthen your AI statement because you will need AI anyway, and your answer probably will be if AI was not there, this product will not work. Okay, so hopefully we'll get to that point. Strong because of all these things. It defines the context, it defines the stakeholders that are there, avoids AI hype unnecessarily, and articulates value without AI also in this particular case. Okay. Okay. So now we.
Sir, I have one query here.
Yes.
Can you go back to the previous slide? So, are you supporting this statement? If AI did not exist, this venture would still matter. This one?
That's the purpose here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like I also said, in your case, so here in a generic, this is what I was emphasizing earlier when I said, as a business leader, when someone comes to you and forces you to use AI for everything, this is a question that you should be able to ask them. If AI did not exist, what would you do? How would it work? What is that value add or not? But for your dissertation, you need AI. Okay, so your product will not work without AI. Is what I'm saying, but it will help you ensure that you have a strong AI component without which it will lose the big value that you are trying to add. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to here.
Okay.
You will need AI, but you will be able to justify it better. Okay, you will make it a very important component of your product. I'm just talking about the philosophy, how you need to think about in today's world when everyone says everything AI. Okay, that's this will help. But in your dissertation, you need AI. So if your answer is that without AI you can do as well with some minor problems, then that won't be a good dissertation worthy activity. Then you need a stronger AI component there. Okay, so its time is now, we are 1 hour 15 minutes into the, or 1 hour 20 minutes, so approximately half the time done. I will come back to some slides eventually, but from now on, now start a new chat and copy the first prompt and run it. Okay, what you need to do here is your initial product idea that you had, just paste that. Rest of the thing, keep right from the first word to the last word as is. Just paste your product idea here and run it. And what you will get is some of these things: problem worth solving, who is harmed, underserved, things that we saw in the previous slides, why this matters beyond revenue, venture meaning. If AI did not exist, it might just still talk about that. Leave it for the time being like that. And then some of the outputs that you are going to get will be going into the second exercise. I will show the structure I will follow from now on is show some weak example. I won't show the strong example after that. We don't have that much time. And then we will run the next exercise from the in the same chat that you will start now. So let's take about, because it's just simply running it, 3 or 4 minutes, and you run the just add your product idea in that chat. The easy way to do that is sometimes you might just paste this whole thing in your chat window and you might hit accidentally the enter thing and it will just start running unnecessarily. I would normally, if I have to do some edits, I first paste them in Notepad and then update whatever I needed to update and then take the whole thing and then paste in the chat window. Whatever works for you, please try that. So let's take about 3-4 minutes and we will continue from here. And as you see that it has clear rules, label statements using fact, inference, hypothesis. You don't have to think about a lot of these things, but you will have to have a structured documentation where all of this information is captured. Okay. Okay, is it done? Still running for some people? Are we done or still running? Okay, good. Okay. And by the way, whenever I have this exercise slide, I am now in the first exercise. We have a total of 13 exercises, which will now go faster, except in one place I have to explain for 2-3 minutes some idea, and then we will move on. But at the bottom of all of these slides, exercise slides, I have the dissertation section alignment. So the outputs of this particular exercise will go into some parts into executive summary, some into company description. We will, of course, have a prompt to generate the entire executive summary at the end, company description, products and services. So your dissertation sections are getting populated with these things. And I have mentioned this because when you start doing your research, you will have a lot of these details start emerging, and you will populate your Excel and Word documents. So label those facts and evidences, tag them with that literature or patent, customer data, internal data, whatever those tags are, or you can come up with your own additional tags. So just have that for every exercise slide. I have this bottom section there with this important instruction in red color. Of course, these sections will keep changing based on each thing. Now, the outputs of some of this outputs of this exercise, some of them will get carried over to the second exercise that we will do. What I will do is first show a poor, weak example of the next section, and then you run the exercise 2 to do a better, more solid one. But now we are coming to a very important piece that will take you a significant time in your dissertation, which is the competition research. We will start with the scope and some initial hypotheses, but map the landscape. Once we have enough competitors, find some common patterns that will identify what are the main gaps that nobody is addressing. Those are our opportunities that will lead to a differentiation and a new hypothesis, which we will red team and improve and strengthen that differentiator, which is our contribution in our dissertation. And then, of course, we will have that small idea about the AI, why AI or how AI use that in there, and then the rest of the business related sections. Okay, the business model, milestones, the minimum viable product, risks, IPR, etc. will come after this. But this is a big chunk, and quite a few of our next exercises will deal with this aspect. So the next one is target segment and market boundaries. And if you generally define your primary target segment is SMEs across all industries globally, in what is in scope? Payroll, HR, compliance, employee experience, productivity, anything and everything under the earth. That would be a ERP or a human capital management, HCM or an HRM system, not the product that you want to build. Out of scope, currently nothing. I will do everything under the sun and globally, and I will keep adapting to all the regulatory things across countries over time. That's weak because the target segment is very broad, won't help us do a proper research on what we need as a very focused dissertation item. Scope creep, this is anything and everything in a HRM tool, not on what you want to build as a phase 1 new product, focused on, as I identified, a small and medium business payroll focused only. Okay. So what now we need to do is, and let me show what you can do. The second exercise requires some inputs from the first exercise. What is the venture meaning statement? What is the problem worth solving? What are the stakeholders who are harmed or not served better? What is the mantra? Optional, but paste it here. You don't have to worry about the rest. Okay, all the prompts are structured nicely, where the inputs is a section where you can, and it tells you from which exercise I want. Now, you can do that. You can manually paste all these from the first exercise, but because you are continuing in the same chat session, what you can do is, in addition to this prompt that you are typing, also type one line which says, for the inputs to this prompt, that requires some of the outputs from the earlier prompt or prompts, pick the relevant information from those outputs. Have a statement that is similar to that so that you don't have to paste everything. It will automatically pull everything from there. This is something I got a learning in the morning session that I did, where we were actually spending a lot of time copying and pasting everywhere, and then someone came along and they said, well, I just modified the prompt a little bit, and it is learning from the previous thing. It is automatically taking all that. So I think that's a good idea. Add just one line to the prompt. Say that any inputs that you require from the earlier exercises you have to say, because right now we have only one, but as we go along there will be more. Pick from there. Okay. I don't know if it will do a thorough work of that, but for today's session, let's do that. In your research, you will have to ensure that it is being very thorough about it and not just picking some parts of it. So just do that, and you don't have to worry about copying, pasting each one independently. Okay, and so that will speed up some of our time now.
So this is on a new, so you're saying this is a new chat altogether, or can
The
we
one
do
that
the same chain of thought?
yeah, the one where you did the exercise one, you just
Yeah.
continue on in the same one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. That way it will maintain the context and you may not have to paste it. For the purpose of this session, I have different chats, and so and explaining which piece of the previous outputs goes into the next one. But when you are putting it in chat GPT or Gemini or anywhere, it knows the context anyway because it's the same session. Just add that one line to ensure that it doesn't miss it. This one leads into your market analysis, customer insights, and products and services section of your dissertation. Once 2 or 3 or 4 of you are done, just paste it, and then we will have a buffer 1 or 2 minutes after that for everyone to complete. If someone needs additional time, just ask me to pause. Okay. Okay, good. Pradeep and Madhusri are done.
So, Professor, for the dissertation also, can we use the similar exercises?
Yeah, I think you can tweak this and and use it for that. Obviously, there is a lot of literature survey that you are doing, so so you will have to look for published materials instead of products and other things that we do here. So the prompts have to be changed accordingly. But I think you can use a very detailed systematic thing there.
Yeah, I think this is excellent for dissertation also. I think does help. Yeah.
Want to add something more, Pradeep, on that thing? Would like to
No.
understand your inputs, your hardware related things. How does this whole thing work? For that would be very interesting to.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about the boundary. Some of the answers I'm getting here, like it's saying AI. Who is harmed and the underserved. I never even thought about those things. So it's giving me ideas that I just completely escaped me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Right.
So
Okay.
during this analysis,
Yeah.
so if we come to the conclusion that instead of a decision, business plan works more. So how early can we?
Frankly, to tell you the truth, I did expect that after this session, maybe one or two people might move. I think you can make that. You are still going through the coursework if you really want to do that, but don't base it only on this session and the structure that it's giving. I think it's your passion. Which one you want to do is more important, and these things can be used there. But I think you can change it. Even now, it should not matter. The later you do it, you are losing that much more time there. But I think right now it's not too late. If you want to change anything, you can. Someone might just say that, oh, this is just too much for me to do for the business plan. I want to go to dissertation. That's also fair. But yeah, you can change it. But do get in touch with the Sumitra primarily, and she can guide on whether we need to inform Praveen or who else. And because GGU will have to put it in their records on who is doing what. But changes can be made. And
Yeah, I think even the AI independence test, I mean, that's something nobody really, I didn't think about earlier. What if it didn't exist? How would you have solved this problem? So it just makes you think in a different way. So I think that's
just
useful.
makes you think. That
Yes.
is the whole purpose. Just makes
Right.
you think.
Right.
Sometimes you get new ideas out of it. May not be exactly this, but it generates new ways of thinking. And
Right.
yeah, good. This is easier. I guess this sounds good. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Good. Okay, then let's move to the next one. Now that you have identified your target segment, what is in scope, what is explicitly out of scope. Okay, and yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the chat window also. And then now we need to get into the research questions and hypothesis that we need to evolve. Okay, and again, weak example only. Why is payroll important? How can AI improve HR? These don't work. And then based on that, some random high level hypotheses, too broad and generic. Okay, so we get the idea now that a weak example would be something very generic, not focusing on specific target segments and pain points and value add, etc. So those are the things that are important, or measurable things. No clear guidance on how we dive deeper, and research would require a pretty thorough deep dive. Okay, so now let's go into, and that venture idea that you have had, you have identified the target audience and what is in scope, out of scope kind of a thing. Let's run the next piece and generate some new hypotheses, etc. What research questions we want to answer. What you will get is 5 candidate research questions, then recommend the best 3. So it will have to identify why it's picking those 3 out of the 5 candidate hypotheses, recommend 3. We will filter them down eventually, and for each one why it matters to venture decision, what is your confidence, high, medium, low, evidence needed, validation method, a very detailed thing. And that claim ledger starter, because now we are getting into hypotheses and other things, your claim starter. And so these are some of the things that you will copy into your Excel eventually, and things like that. Okay, so that's what, again, you can from your first two exercises independently paste things, or you just have that line where you say that whatever inputs you are needed in this prompt, use them from the relevant outputs of the earlier exercises that we have already done. Just copy from there. If you just tell it, it will just pick it. You don't have to copy paste. So it will go pretty quickly that way. Okay. So I'll pause again for 3-4 minutes. If someone is done, just paste, just in the chat window, say that you are done, and any questions, keep asking. Okay, this is how we will go through the next few things. After this, we have 10 more exercises, 3-4 minutes for each, 40-45 minutes we will take, and we will have 10 minutes to wrap up. So on time. And this is again leading into your market analysis, your risk analysis, your appendixes, or appendices, whatever the correct plural is. I think both are correct. But all these claim ledger and these other additional tracking documentation that you have can all be moved into your appendix section of the dissertation. And I promise you, there is one thing, that red teaming, I'm sure you will all enjoy. I came across this a few months back and really feel that's such an important, powerful thing. We use it for anything we do. Contest our own claims. Make the Gen AI fight itself. Again, if someone is done, please keep pasting it, or in the chat window, just commenting that you are done. Of course, you have to read through the outputs also, so that will take some time, but scan through them because these tools tend to be very verbose, which is actually helpful when you are drafting your dissertation. A lot to say. Okay. Okay. So some people are done.
How was this prompt vault arrived at, Prof? I mean, was this a kind of a brainstorming by the various professors, or okay?
No, brainstorming between me and ChatGPT.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
I was just told a week back, last week, that this is a challenge that GGU is facing, and with some of the research proposal defenses, and that if possible, I should do a session. And I have been doing some sessions for product managers in corporate trainings where I have created a lot of these things, not exactly the same, but elements of that on how to do proper competition research. So that section I said I want to be able to share with everyone on how to do deep competition research, and I can put something together quickly is what I told her. And so she said, then do a session. And so,
Yeah.
so
Very useful. Thank you. That's great stuff.
Thank you. And once anyone improves upon this or does anything, please do share the knowledge with me. I will then pass it on to the next cohorts when I do that. It's a learning experience for all of us. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next research questions and hypothesis register. So some questions are done. Now the competition landscape mapping, and generally we tend to ask, give me a list of top competitors in this high level space that we mentioned, and that generally misses many things. In this case, maybe the company, I may have a good product, but the company is using Excel and other things. They just there is inertia. They just don't want to change. Okay, so how do I think about that? They may be using some other tool that is partially solving it, or multiple tools they are doing it. So there could be something. So differentiation is needed very well. So we need to dive deep into what kind of other tools these people are using and who are we fighting against really. So a thorough competition research has to be done. And for that, uh, uh, asking who are our competitors is not the right first question. This is a framework called JTBD, jobs to be done. Always specify what exactly you want to achieve. Then ask who are the other competitors that are able to solve the same activity. They are able to do the same job. Okay, not for the whole product that is there. It might give a large product that has payroll as one of the pieces there. It can find that. But what are the jobs that I want to do? Who are the other people who are doing these exact same jobs? So jobs to be done, JTBD framework. Let's spend a couple of slides and 5 minutes on this. Then we will, after that, we will just continuously go through these exercises one after the other. So the idea behind JTBD was essentially that it's not about the product, but it is how people are using it. What are they using it for? And so I think in the immersion also I showed this slide or something. Uh, People don't buy a drill because they want a drill. They buy a drill because they want to punch a hole in the wall. So that is the job that needs to be done. Not I want a drill. I want to punch a hole in the wall. And that's the job. And who are the other people who are able to accomplish this? And for that, the framework has a way to draft that sentence. And so it could be when I describe the situation, I want to, what is the motivation for that? And then so that I can achieve what is the outcome. Example could be when, as an employee, I have a policy or payroll question. I want to get a clear, compliant answer quickly so that I can get back to work without worrying if I will get into trouble later. Or if I am the admin, I am an HR ops agent handling 50 plus tickets a day. I want to, what is the motivation? Resolve cases accurately and consistently without searching 10 different systems. So, what is the outcome? I can keep SLAs and avoid escalations. Obviously, if I just give this kind of a framework, we will not be able to think about drafting every sentence like this. Now, the Gen AI tools are going to be able to do that. All I have to tell them is frame these things using a JTBD framework. It knows what JTBD framework is. It will help you draft them better. But having that as an approach to competition research is better. And the JTBD, the key components, when it drafts it, it will think about the job statement, the pain points and the context and what is the outcome that you desire. The job statement can be functional. I want to run a payroll accurately on time. The final statement will be on the lines that I showed in the previous slide, but it can be something addressing this. I don't want employees to worry about their pay, even emotional thing. Okay, what are the current pain points? Who is facing that pain? And is it because of the tight cutoff times, or what is the context under which this pain is being felt by different people for achieving that kind of a job? And once I do all of that, what is the outcome that I am looking for? Error-free payslips, compliance, happy employees. That's generally what a JTBD framework aims to achieve. And so when you want to do this, you don't ask for competition. You start with the JTBD and the segment who want payroll off their plate. That's the job they want done. And this is the segment that I want to aim at. Some of this we have already covered in the previous exercise. And then ask for categories, not just features or prices, because when you look for a competition mapping, it will give you what features each product has, what is their pricing and other kinds of things. But which category, what are the outcomes they are doing, that is a much more uh, deeper way of doing it. That will eventually lead to us having the opportunity areas and differentiators that will emerge out of that. It will find the patterns and gaps and help us get to that. Okay, so LLMs are going to give you nice, beautifully formatted, professional sounding outputs, not clear market insight, and hypothesis driven prompts are going to help you do that. So let's just do that now. Have a structured map of direct, indirect substitutes, status quo kind of a thing. Status quo is I am using Excels and other things. I'm continuing to do that. How do we address alternatives to those using this thing? And so this will lead into your competition landscaping, market analysis, marketing and sales also. It will help you if someone is very comfortable doing their Excel and other things. How do you market it really to make them convert to your product? So some pieces of that will go into that. So let's run the landscape mapping thing again. Now it requires some other outputs. JTBD statement, high level thing will come right now, but a lot more deeper JTBD will be done in a couple of exercises from now, when we have to have clear differentiator hypothesis. Okay, so the first introduction to JTBD happens at this stage.
Prof, just a quick question.
Yes.
The first exercise you asked us to paste in the topic, right, of the but would it make sense to put the entire PDF that we have generated 3,000 words, or will that be skewing the output of the LLM? It's more like a RAG-based approach, I'm thinking. Give some, yeah.
When you say PDF, are you meaning all these prompts put together, or?
No. See, we've submitted a topic presentation, right? Earlier,
Right.
that's about 3,000 odd words. Should that also be attached here, or would it be better for the LLM to just figure this out here?
At this stage, because you used a certain approach to generate all of that, this is a different approach. Do this and then maybe generate a document from this and that and ask it to compare what are the strengths and weaknesses in each of them, and maybe have a better consolidated document come out of that.
Got it. Makes sense. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, this is asking the hard questions. Yes, critical viewpoint. And Shweta also says, don't put your entire research in an LLM. This will show high AI detection scores when you submit. In the plagiarism or other tools that you have Turnitin, etc. Yeah, that is something we need to think of on how to draft it, because I don't see anything wrong in terms of using AI to help you draft the things and consolidate and synthesize information. But using AI to actually create something will not be acceptable. So that is where a distinction has to be made. If I this is an interesting question. Let me bring this up in our weekly meeting with Sumitra and other faculty members, Dakshinamurthy and Venkatesh. We will
Yeah,
see
because right now we are
what is
being
the right.
told the tolerance level is 20% or 30%
I
maximum.
agree. I understand. But
But also from the thesis perspective, if you want to put it in some journal or anything, it's the same, right? It's the tolerance is about
yeah,
20% for most.
yeah, understood.
But then even if they run it once or twice through an AI checker, it shows up as 80%, 90% for anybody else who's doing that.
Yeah,
So that becomes really difficult.
yeah. At the same time, I mean, this is a Gen AI course, and if you don't use it for the right purpose, then how is it? But I understand the challenge. How do you know that you have used it for the right purpose and not to actually do? Because you will be collecting a lot of data, surveys, and other kinds of things that you might do, and there is a huge amount of work to be done on that and synthesize and analyze that information. Mm. So yeah, it's I don't have a clear answer to that yet.
I think they should change the entire trajectory now. With AI, everybody is
Exactly.
using it. It's a fact.
Exactly.
You should
Yeah.
give more value to the ideation
Yes.
rather than the output, I think. And you know, this is
Absolutely.
like too much of a catch-22 situation. You can't
Yes.
do anything.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, but I can also understand why they are doing the way they are doing it, because how do you really know that you really have strong value add that you have done and not just generate everything through AI?
Yeah,
It's
but
a
I mean,
tough
even you use AI to throw around ideas, right? So at the
exactly
end of the day, even
exactly
you refining your idea is going to be through AI now,
exactly.
which means that you started with something and that should count.
And that should count. See, the thing is, yeah, I did quite a bit of work when I initially started some of these things. When I do corporate trainings, the outputs are not nice. I have to then question it. I have to ask something more, and eventually something evolves, which is very valuable. So you're right. That should count. Uh, uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's worth having a discussion on. Make a note of it while you
Yeah, because
run
what
the
I
next
find is
prompt.
like you are using AI, but then at the end of the day, you're just trying to write differently so that you don't get caught.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, that does not say that I did it or somebody else did it. That's like,
Yeah,
again, waste of your time and waste of everybody's time.
absolutely, absolutely. Uh, Okay. You are done.
Exercise 6, sorry, I'm running ahead, but there is this thing where it says that you need to put in interview surveys or field notes, or it can
That part you
generate
will have to
synthetic
leave.
data.
I understand. That part you will have to leave it for the time being, because you don't have that. But once you get that, you should be able to again use this thing. You're right. That is a placeholder right now. So those who have done, now it's just running all these things, nothing more to explain. Those who are done with this part, the next is, now that competition landscape mapping is done, you now deep dive, identify patterns so that it will lead to your differentiator or opportunities that you have. Okay, so again, this is for the slides will be with you so that you can see what are some weak examples. For completeness, you will have this, but I think we don't need to look at that anymore. Let's now convert the landscape into some nice deep dives, repeated patterns, gaps that will help us define our hypotheses. Okay, and so those who are done with number 4 can move on to number 5 for now extracting possible hypotheses, gaps from the existing competition that you have identified. We have about 35-40 minutes left, and 4, this is the 5th one. So for 9 exercises, which is about 3-4 minutes, 9 threes, 27. So that's just about sufficient. So 3-4 minutes per exercise that we will go. I don't think I have anything more to really explain except summarize. Yeah, nothing more. Yeah, so it's just one slide of weak examples followed by the exercise. And so once the landscape is converted into some opportunity areas and possible hypotheses, then we take those. Are we done? Are we done with 4? Hopefully everyone is done. 5, are we done? Or is someone still at 4? Done. So done with 5 also. Okay, good. So once you have generated these possible hypotheses, then what we will do is we will go into synthesizing. Just start at 5. Okay, please continue on the 5, please. And what 5 will achieve is, if you see, produce some recurring patterns, contradictions, tension, convenience versus control. I have a tension in my decision making. Outsourcing my payroll to someone is convenient, but then I lose control. So that is what I mean by tension. There is one aspect that is helpful, the other is not. So find those contradictions, tensions, and that will help us, now that I understand some competitive recurrent pattern and some tensions, contradictions, what would be some possible hypothesis areas for us to work on, and then break it down to eventually get outputs that will feed into the next exercise. So when you are done, people are done with 5, please just post done. Yeah. Okay, that's a better way of typing. Done 6 or done 5, and that will help me keep pace with you also. And so 6 would be now synthesizing some of that information. Of course, here we don't have interviews, surveys, observations. The data is not yet done. Once you collect data, you can come back later on during your research part and then utilize it nicely. At this point, it will just use some rough themes to create some things. Obviously, the further outputs will change dramatically once you have data analysis also brought in. Right now, it will be a bit generic from now on, but you get the whole process. Okay, number 6. Working on number 6. Done with 6. Anybody still on 5? This will now clearly have those JTBD statements and persona defined, a draft persona and other things will happen here. Are we done with 6, everyone? The 7 and 8 will be the important ones. Okay, good. Andy is also done. So now let's now get into the differentiators for our product. Okay, and it will have for which segment, what is the hypothesis that we have, and how it will outperform the existing solutions that are out there, on which metric will it outperform, and because of whatever evidence, etc. It will give you outputs like that. Okay, so differentiator hypothesis formation, and a lot of inputs from the previous exercises, exercise 2, 5, 6, all of them will come here and it will output. So ensure that you are always typing. Even if you don't type, I think because you are continuing the same session, it will pick from the previous thing. But just to be sure, always type any inputs you require for doing this analysis. Pick from the outputs of the earlier exercises. So it will do that nicely. In fact, 7 and 8 are about the differentiator. So if once anybody, whoever is done with 7, actually go to 8 also, where you are really saying, are these really differentiators? While it has done its analysis, it is saying that these are differentiators. Make it rethink, make it attack its own claims. And that is the red teaming thing that really helps you do that. So it will basically ask if you are a competitor of my own product. Currently, these are the differentiators. But the moment I come build something, you are the competitor now. How will you break this benefit that I currently have? My differentiator will no longer be a differentiator. What will do that? And so it will think on those lines to break the current differentiator and strengthen it. So very, very important exercise on the eighth one. How the competitor could neutralize my differentiation is what it's doing. A stress test is happening. And so run 7 and 8. Once you are done with both 7 and 8, then let me know, and then we will more or less get into the business part of it, except for the AI decision point. In fact, because the AI decision point is a minor thing here in the context that we are talking, important, but something that will help you strengthen your AI aspect because it will punch a hole in your arguments whether AI is badly needed or not. Run 9 also. Then we get to the final phase. Phase 2 will be done. The final phase is the business part of it, the risks, IPR, the minimum viable product. So we can run all of them, in fact, in one shot, the third phase. Okay. But yeah, right now, very important. 7, identifying differentiators. 8, challenging those differentiators to improve upon that. And 9, challenging the need of your AI decision. Okay. And making that more stronger. So 7, 8, 9, please run and let me know when you are done with all 3. That's the big chunk of today's session, actually.
So red teaming is just to get rid of the sycophancy part of ChatGPT, is it?
Helps with that, yeah. Yeah. You are explicitly asking it to challenge its own thing because it currently its thought process is, okay, I'm analyzing everything else. What is the difference gap that is there? Let me fix that. But then it's not thinking beyond that. Now you say, okay, fine, you have done that. Today it's a differentiation. But my competitor also knows AI. They are also typing the same prompt somewhere. And how will they break it in the next 5-6 months? Okay. So then it will punch holes. Oh, this is how it can be not a great differentiator anyway. And so then ask it, and the prompt does all of that. So how would you strengthen it so that at least 1 year they will not be able to break it? And so that questioning your own claims is what it achieves. Done with 9. Okay. Doesn't positioning matter here?
I mean, you might have similar kind of products, right? But
yeah,
what market you're targeting and how you're positioning it will be more important
yes,
for
you
you
have
to
already done
survive.
that.
Because
In the previous
no,
exercises.
but it is in even with 8 and 9, I think, where it is kind of telling you that this could be the kind of competition or this might be something that will not work for you. You could look at repositioning it here and ask the questions again, I think.
Yeah.
Because you'll be better able to understand
Yes.
what exactly is your target and probably adjust that at this point.
Yeah. obviously, when you are doing your research, and of course, that's a long time, it's not a 2 hour thing, at each output, you will probably question it. It may have lost some of the context earlier and say, does it still apply to that target audience and the market, that boundaries that we have drawn? Is it applicable? Think about it, and so it will respond. Sorry, Pradeep, you were saying something.
No. That's good. It's asking me to do interviews with TUV and ISO and wondering how to get those appointments. That's the next step.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else done with 9, or are we further back somewhere? 5, 6. Hopefully 5, 6 is anyway done, but 7, 8, 9. As I said, eventually the outputs here will improve a lot when you have collected the data, surveys, and other things, and added that piece also. These will improve a lot more from now on. But today, let's see the whole process and ensure that we are being able to map our business plan requirement with the dissertation requirement sections, and which one maps to what is that goal. Anybody else who is done with 9, or rather than done, if someone wants me to pause earlier, then please ask me to stop or slow down. Otherwise, if they are done, then we can move on to the next one. Done. Okay. Okay. Good. Then let's move on to the business side of it, the business model and adoption. Who is the buyer? Who is the user? Okay. So that's very important. The product, and I'm facing that right now as we build a product, that the management wants it. So management is the buyer, but the analyst is the user. Okay. In a payroll product, the finance head might be the buyer, the admin or the HR head or HR admin might be the user. So, and the buyer wants it, user is not happy with the way it works. And so you have to think about all of them to be able to get them to adopt this better. So barrier reduction and all those mapping is what you do now. Okay. So run exercise 10. 13 is only synthesizing everything into a business summary. So it's mostly this, and then risks, IPR, and the milestones validation path. How do you launch in 90 days, in 6 months, in 9 months, 12 months? What is that plan? Yeah. Well, let me type my LinkedIn. I think you can search Sridhar Pappu, but I think it's S Pappu in my LinkedIn. That's what it is. And my email is pappu@ggu.edu or sridhar.pappu@upgrad.com, or yeah, currently I think those two will do. I have many emails. I think this will work. If we are done with 10, just let me know. Just a couple more in the next 8 minutes, if we are able to, 8 to 10 minutes, if we are able to finish these remaining 3, then just, done all. Okay. Good. Then we'll just some again making the same statements that use it cautiously. You are in charge of verification, validation, help for brainstorming and speeding up things and synthesizing this. So those are the statements I just want to make as a closing thing. But okay, if 10 is done, then create one for thesis as one refined from this format. And I would love it if someone creates, I will credit in my future sessions whoever builds this for thesis and for books also. So that would be very nice, good idea. Okay. And
Professor, is it, I know Upgrad will upload this slide eventually, but
I will
is
do
it
that.
possible?
I will do that in the Teams channel.
Teams chat, yeah, because they
yeah.
do it after a day or so, and
I will do this after the class immediately.
okay.
Yeah. I upload my own material. I don't share with anyone because I don't know what that process is. I will upload after this session is done. Okay. Once the business, the plan, that mapping is done, if you see this one is really the outputs help you clearly what is the value that you are adding and how will you adopt from those differentiators. Basically, who is the buyer, who is the user, and all those roles, the persona, what kind of user persona, the jobs to be done. So the business side of it, it will help. What are the 5 adoption barriers and how can you lower those barriers? Always a counter example it gives, which is a weak one, just for information. But the phase 1 business model and how it will get adopted. Okay, so that's what we will get from this, and that leads to our 90-day, 6-month, 12-month milestones. Milestones are related to the production outputs, validations essentially. How are they getting validated, not just some production release or something. Okay. That's what is important here. And once this is done, the last one is the risks. Okay. So what are the risks? And that is important for your product idea. Even when you do a pitch to a VC, you should know what are the possible risks and what are the mitigations that you can do.
Yeah, I took the summary and ran it through Turnitin, and it comes up with 68% of your text matches existing sources.
Yeah.
So it's very high level. So that, as Shweta said, we're going to have to work on that.
Yeah.
Original content, 32%.
Okay. And right now, everything was put through ChatGPT. It still says 68% and 32%.
I think the 32% may be the originality of the statement of the problem statement. That's all,
That's one third.
One, that's too
Synthesized.
much. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't trust these tools also.
Okay, got it.
And if that is what it is, the tool is doing, breaking it is actually a pretty simple thing. You change some of the standard ways these tools generate statements.
Right.
The M dashes and other kinds of things.
Okay.
You can fix it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think the world has to evolve and do something while ensuring that the critical thinking, etc., has been done. At the same time, ensuring that drafting, etc., should not count towards that score. Okay. So anyone still working on 11, 12, and if you are done, 10, 11, 12 from the business model part of it, and then the 13th is just summarizing the whole thing, and it goes into your executive summary. Oops, sorry. Let me know. I know Shweta and Pradeep are done with all. If a few more people comment that everything is done, let's just get to the closing statements. And any in the meanwhile, those who are done, maybe you can compare your initial output. Of course, that was limited to competition mapping. Here we have done a lot more beyond that to generate differentiators and other things. But just any thoughts that you have about this detail and rigor from here compared to that, and the outputs essentially being more valuable. So we will come to that once everyone is done. We will have 5 minutes for you to share any thoughts, comparison between your initial thing and the final thing. Okay, anybody else done with up to 13? All the prompts? Okay, I'm not getting any more chat things, so people are working on that. Let's wait for a few more minutes. And you see, you specifically have to call out through that prompt over claiming hype phrases to be removed. So, and the outputs will improve as I said earlier, when you get the data from your research. Okay, anybody else done? Okay, did I move a bit too quickly through these things? I'm not getting any other inputs. Okay, done. And this is done. Okay. Okay. I'll wait 2 more minutes and then we will wrap up. Okay. Okay. Okay, unless someone wants me to pause, let me just continue. Of course, I am staying here if you need me longer. I don't want to hurry people, but let's just ensure that we understand its place correctly where we use AI. As a researcher, we have to be very cautious. We are helping accelerate our whole process, but not replace our judgment validation processes. Where can we use in literature, in patents, competition, customer identification, finance, etc. These are certain areas that we can use AI for, and always maintain your assumptions and that Excel file that I have, because when you consolidate all of the information over the next many months and a year, it will help you do that, and that can easily go into your appendix also. And so that's very important. Uh, Dissertation quality checklist before drafting full chapters. Ensure all the claims that are very important, that impact uh, your differentiators, your milestones, your business model. All of those are these are all called load bearing claims, and evidence tagging and traceability is maintained for all of them. Hypotheses are very clearly listed and validated. Unknowns are also listed. Do not delete anything. Everything verifiable. Of course, that AI decision gate only to strengthen your AI part, which is a necessary part of your dissertation or a business plan or a book. All the assumptions are part of your that claim Excel. The risks and everything should be there. So all those sections are nicely filled, and the general current AI usage, we started off, that's the normal way. We ask questions, we ask for lists of competitors, feature summaries to find the differentiators, summarize the reports, and request for proposals, etc., customer feedback, all things. We draft emails, variety of these things. AI is generally used for that. But while it is useful in saving time and very important, it creates an illusion that we have got the knowledge of our competition. That's wrong. What we have achieved today through this process is a very systematic way of being thorough with that, not just asking for a list of competitors. Differentiation, feature summaries, etc., nicely drafted, is not a differentiator. We saw how we need to go through that hypothesis and deep dive and pattern recognition, and then again, despite that, red team it and then get to a proper differentiation, which is dissertation worthy also, and will help you build a product that can sell. And generating documents, product requirement document or dissertation draft, may make us get the illusion of speed, but we must also ensure that we have clarity, everything validated, evidences tagged, and all of those things. Okay, so that's how we need to use Gen AI and avoid the illusions that it can create by being thorough. We are still using Gen AI, but using it much more process oriented, much more deep dive that we are doing. It will not give us differentiators unless we connect it with those JTBD and other frameworks. And that is what we have achieved today. And the goal is not to get perfection, it is to get a nice draft that you can validate, verify, and fine tune and do that. So that's the goal for using GenAI for your research. And then as we started, not a pitch deck, that was not the purpose, but to ensure the dissertation rigor is mapped to the goals of a business plan. I want to build a business. I don't want to publish a dissertation document out of it, but mapping the needs of this with that rigor, both have synergy in there, and that's what we have achieved. So with that, I conclude today's session. We have one more minute, but we can stay a bit longer if you wish. Any thoughts on the outputs that you generated to start with versus what you got to, and anything else will be is welcome right now.
Professor, this is Praveen. I have a question with respect to literature review. Suppose if I have published a paper and I'm trying to use that paper data and then trying to do literature review. So I get to know there are multiple approach of doing the literature review. One is you look at on same topic 20 paper and then try to do comparison what you did recent 5 paper versus 20 paper. One approach. There are multiple way to handle literature review paper when you have some paper. So thought of asking that question, is there any guidelines or recommendations how to handle such a scenario?
Yeah, so see, in the literature review, a higher level thing you can get started, and you can use GenAI also for that to identify published papers from reputable. You will have to use those words, published
Okay.
papers from reputable journals, and
Mm-hmm.
once you start getting a few papers, the way we used to do back in the times when internet was also not there, would be go to the library, find some papers that are related to the topic that you want to work on, and then that paper has a list of references at the end. Then we would go into those. They have more references. It was a never ending process. So that will lead you to those things. The initial thing you can get from here, but then a lot of Google search also will be useful here, not just that. I am not sure if there are some nice tools that people have already built to be able to do scientific research. Chat GPT, etc., do have models that help you with deep research. I think you have to mix and match. You can use GenAI, but you also have to go to some of these journals and get some articles from there, and then references from within that. It is a never ending process. You will have many more than you will ever need, okay, or you can deal with. So that's what I would recommend to do there.
Yeah, second part of the problem which I notice, that paper is more about a science index paper, and then DBA is more about a management decision aspect of priority. Now if I'm trying to use that paper and design my thesis, I'm able to design a thesis for PhD aspect. The moment I have to switch the thesis to DBA aspect, then it is the more as the responsible AI aspect or business aspect. Or
Exactly.
when you think about the responsible AI is the okay, that piece can be done because responsible AI can be applied all any engineering research or engineering framework. Then it comes to the point business aspect. The moment you think business, things become bit more kind of different layer, engineering layer, management decision layer. Then you got into business layer. The moment you come to business layer, then you start thinking, okay, now this product whom to sell, how to sell, digital transformation scenario, or AI strategy scenario, or build versus or selling B2B or B2C aspect, whom should I point to sell, and why to sell, how to sell, why would somebody buy? Now you have to look at that dimensional as well. Then you get to
But
know, okay,
that is
some.
very different. Now you have mixed up two things. One, you started with the dissertation. Now you are getting into a product selling part. These are two different problems, two different approaches you have to take. So the previous one you said is from a dissertation perspective. So what is your focus? Is it a dissertation or is it a business plan? The
Yeah, the
second part that you
thesis.
talked about, all of that is part of business plan. Who to sell, how to sell, what to sell, and other things is B2B and these ideas. That's all for a business plan thing. For a dissertation, you don't probably require the selling part of it. You will find a unique approach of solving a problem. So you can go to management journals also, which will talk about how a particular AI solution is being used in your domain. What is the problem statement that you have picked?
I pick up a neuro disease handling with Gen AI. So autism, Parkinson's disease data,
Okay.
EEG
Yeah.
signal data, using
And
the EEG signal data, deploying a Fourier transformation, and trying to identify the disease, and then
yeah.
deploying a Gen AI model to predict the disease.
That's it, no? So then there is nothing to do about selling to anybody and justifying to anyone. If you are able to predict with better accuracies the autism related thing and compare to other people, so what are the other people who have done autism related work using AI? Okay, not just Gen
Mhm.
AI, any AI. If you search for those, there will be publications that people are talking about, and you dive deeper into that and get that. And so your question is now, is it a PhD level thing or a business? If you are able to say that this approach that you have taken or a framework that you have created can get better accuracies than what you are seeing, or it can be implemented in an organization or in a hospital better, then that is your outcome that you are giving. Okay, so then you don't have to really think about the marketing and sales plan and the risks and the IPR strategies, and those are the things that you don't have to worry about, which are part of business plan.
Okay, so what I was trying to say, so you are saying this can come to management decision and they should stop there. They should not think about further product. Suppose
Yeah,
I'm not saying adding a business plan in my
yeah, yeah,
thesis.
yeah. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
saying about the contextual side of topic.
No.
Okay, this thing can go to business, or I'm suppose, okay, I build a model, engineering model. I applied a responsible AI, governance
Mm,
AI,
mm,
ethical AI,
mm.
all the AI aspect. Now
Yes.
I made it kind of a management decision.
Yeah.
Now I want to go to take my thesis to next level. Okay,
No.
now
No, you are done. You have given
done.
a
Okay.
nice way of for implementing. You have given a solution that doesn't exist today. You have added the responsible aspects of it. You have improved the accuracy. You have given framework to be able to deploy. Now, whether they deploy or not, implement or not, is not your worry at all. You have come up with something that doesn't exist today in the solutions that are there. You have added something more,
Okay,
and you are,
so
yeah.
yeah, so I have another aspect. Suppose I'm just sharing my thought. Okay, I build a model, I deploy the Gen AI on my system. Now I'm thinking, how can I make this one for a family or B2C aspect? Some patient or some kids facing this issue, and parent need this device or this model to access at their home or in their travel. So can I can I go to next level, use immersive device, integrate immersive device with the cloud and this model, and try to build that aspect, and then leave it there. And now this
You
become
you
a kind of a,
you can do two things. So you can keep on doing a lot of things. So
okay,
what you need to do is you need to separate out the the doctorate requirements with your from your longer term goals.
okay.
Obviously, for doctorate, if you have identified a framework that includes the responsible aspects of it and the engineering aspects of it and all of that together, how it solves a gap that doesn't exist in current solutions out there for autism related things, you now have suggested a solution for that thing. Your degree you are able to get once your supervisor and you are all satisfied with the quantum of work. Degree part is done. You
Okay.
create the document, get it. Now obviously there is a lot of good work done. You can now, beyond the degree, you can now think about the sensors or other things that capture the moods at different times or other kinds
Mhm,
of patterns,
mhm,
and then you
mhm,
want to build a product for a B2C or a B2B. That's your future thing, unconnected to your degree, the doctorate
mhm,
degree. On the other
mhm.
hand, you can take an approach. You can say, anyway, I want to be able to build a product like that. So why not have it as a business plan where I actually start building this thing? And once I have a sufficient piece done with all of these things, I can get my degree, fine tuning it and improving. I can have a prototype probably. I can do degree requirements are met, and then I improve upon the product and continue. It's up to you. Either process is okay. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so separate out your degree goals from your longer term goals.
Okay. So when you say neuro disease, the neuro disease could have a multiple disease. No,
Yeah.
in that there are 10 disease which can be addressed using EEG signal, like a Parkinson, epilepsy, or autism, or drowsiness. There are close to 20 plus disease. Now, if I am deciding the title of the paper, a thesis, I have a choice to say one disease, and then same choice to have a saying whole about domain as a topic,
Yeah.
neuro
Yeah.
disease. No,
Yeah.
neuro disease can be fall into multiple disease, but I'm
Yeah.
taking up one signal. There could be
Yeah.
multiple signal as well,
Yeah.
EMR or no, the multiple data are available. So I'm taking only
Yeah.
one signal. Even is
Yeah.
okay taking up this approach.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, okay,
And that is where you can even brainstorm a little bit. Of course, you will be speaking with your supervisor who will guide you a lot, but this is where you can extract existing knowledge in the world and have some kind of a brainstorming with the Gen AI tools also, by explaining in detail what you are trying to achieve and what is it out there that you want to create as that gap that you want to address. But either approach is okay. You can have a neuro disease as a domain that you want to solve. If not 22 diseases, maybe a bunch of 5 or 6 which have a similar subset of the signals that can track that. Or you can focus on one of them and dive deeper into that thing. As long as you find a differentiation from what is out there in the market today. Could be the engineering part, could be the business application part of it. Anything, you will have to identify that gap. Okay, and
so yeah,
there
so
is
as a professor, as a auditing or and as a reviewer professor, if you see a thesis has an engineering aspect, would you stop or would you allow to say, okay, engineering aspect can go, but you focus on management aspect because this is DBA. So that would be my another question.
See, it doesn't matter. See, engineering, again, at what level is the matter? If you are trying to build a model that can predict these things better because you have taken into account some signals or a combination of signals that other people have not looked at, or some other variables you have added and you studied them together, it may still not be a deep theoretical thing that can lead to a PhD, but it can still give enough management level decision thing, and even the engineering part could be a management degree output. So
Okay.
there is nothing wrong with that.
Okay, it is acceptable to have engineering aspect as well. It's not just DBA. I'm talking about only management aspect without
Because
having
you are
engineering.
solving a business problem. You are solving a real problem with that. You are not creating a new algorithm or so to say model or playing at the math and the engineering level at that level. Building a new model with new data, etc., is not really at that engineering level that a PhD would be looking at. But you are solving, your focus is still on neuro disease. Okay, your focus is on autism. I want to solve that problem using AI to do a better solution than before. And that's if that better solution has just an additional improved accuracy that you are getting because of a little engineering that you did in some ways, feature engineering or other kinds of things, that's fair game, because you are building a better solution for autism detection or neuro disease detection.
So IRB point of view, when we go to IRB meeting, this will happen after the first second presentation, and then it is done by GGU team, and they want to know.
Check with Sumitra and others on the process for IRB. I am not too sure about that, but don't start collecting data. Primary data never collected before the IRB, because all of that will be negated. If you collect any data before IRB, you will have to throw it away. You can't accept that. So if you are ready for that stuff, I think for business plan, the IRB has to happen much earlier. But check with Sumitra. I don't want to talk about things that I am not
I
too
see.
sure about.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. Any other questions?
So yes, hi, Dr. Sridhar, how are you? This is Manish. So I missed the immersion, and I did submit my topic proposal, but I never got any response. So what is a way to at least get an endorsement on, okay, I'm heading in the right topic or right area before I start building my assignment and so forth? What would be a
I
mechanism?
think, see, the immersion was a way for other cohort members and some faculty to come and exchange ideas. Now that you have a topic, the next course of action will be to assign a supervisor, and then you will have to work with the supervisor on getting inputs on that, and adding, improving on that, and then essentially continuing with the research. So I don't think there is any other feedback on that document that we will share. But again, if you have a question on that, talk to Sumitra on that.
Okay. So I can still reach out to her and possibly have a session.
Yeah.
Just reviewing the document, right?
Yeah. I don't know if she will review the document or not, but find the process. I think the most likely course of action will be for everyone. We will assign the supervisor, and then you take it from there. The supervisor will help you fine tune the topic, extend or change or whatever, and you work from there.
Yeah, no, I understand, because for the semester we have to already submit some assignment, and let's say you build all your assignments and towards the end you're assigned a guide, and they say, oh, this is not even a legit topic, and then that means you have to redo everything or rejig the topic itself, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's never that it's not a legit topic. It's always the changing of the scope that can happen, and so anyway, please talk to Sumitra only on that one. I think
Okay, thank you.
the
No, thank you. I
process,
appreciate.
the process related pieces, everything. Just talk to Sumitra.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Great session, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate. Yeah. Sorry, missed you and the immersion somehow. Thank you. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah. Some other time we'll meet. Any other anyone who has in today's session who has analyzed the initial outputs or later outputs? Any other comment, or we are now? If there is nothing, then we'll call it a day. Let me stop sharing and then any other thoughts if anybody has, please. Otherwise, let's drop off.
So prior we are not sure about the boundaries. So now we came to know like what are the boundaries and to which extent we need to think of. That is the clear vision.
Okay, good. So the product scope has been defined much clearer now. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And that's important, in scope and what is out of scope also. And we do that when I train product managers. Always tell them what you have to clearly specify what is the goal and what are the non-goals. And at least for the MVP, what is not there. Next phase, maybe what was not a goal earlier can become a goal now. But the boundaries are very, very important to define. Okay. Any other thoughts? Else, have a great day and great week ahead. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you. Okay, thanks a lot. Then I'm ending the session. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, thank you. Hope to see you all again soon somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, bye-bye.